Hello, dear students. Today I am going to cover the third lecture of unit number 5, that is your email. As we are using the email in our daily life uh, from morning to late night, so it is the part of our life. What is the basic concept behind the email, how it works, what are the scenarios, all the architecture works in the email system, what are the various protocol that are used by the email application program. So we will discuss in this lecture all these. So firstly, a basic overview of the email. One of the most popular internet services is the email. Email is a service which allows to send the message in electronic mode over the internet. It has replaced the our portal postal system older that was used in the older days. It is still working postal system, but most commonly nowadays we are using the email system because it is inexpensive, efficient, and real-time delivery of the data. So that's why it is widely used by the most of the people all over the world. It is used for transmission of the message over the communication network. The message can be noted notes entered from keyboard or electronic files, means we can make a email using the keyboard, or we can upload a file that may be audio, video, or text file. Most mainframes, mini computer, and the computer network have an email system. Some email systems are confined into a single computer or the network, but other have the gateway to the other computer system, enabling user to send or receive the email anywhere from the world. So this concept is basically based on the email architecture. There are four scenarios of the email architecture we will discuss little bit later. Companies that are fully computerized make the extensive use of the email because it is fast, flexible, and reliable. Most of the email system includes text editor for composing the message, but many allows you to edit your message using any editor that you want. You then send the email at the particular recipient by specifying its email address, and you can also send the same message to several users at a once. The sent messages are stored in the electronic mailbox of the receiver. If you want to see the mail, you can have a check the email box electronically after after certain period of the time. Although many systems alerts when a email is received. For example, if I have started the email alert at the my laptop, so as a new message will appear in my mailbox, it will automatically popped up a message in the windows. Yes, you have a mail. So email alert may be there. After reading your mail, you can store the text file, forward it to the other one, delete it, whatever you want to do it. So electronic mail system agents. Email system requires two agents to handle the emails. These are the two important one. Without this, email system is not possible. So first one is the user agent. User agent basically provides an interface to the user to interact with the system. It is a software that acting on behalf of users, such as web browser that retrieves and facilitates the end user interaction with the web content. An email reader is a mail user agent Example of the mail user agent includes Microsoft Outlook that most of the system have, Mozilla Thunderbird, and Webmail. Webmail is basically a Gmail based interface. Squirrel Mail was one of the l- largest, or we can say widely used email system in the few year ago. It was free of cost. So most of the system at that time using Squirrel Mail, but nowadays most of the companies are using the webmail. So Gmail is based on the webmail interface. Second one is the mail transfer agent. Mail transfer agent, sometimes also known as the message transfer agent, it is basically a software within the internet message handling system. Internet message handling system means how the message is transferred from user A to user B. So MTA plays an important role. MTA have two part, MTA client and MTA server. So this may be possible. MTA client and MTA server reside on a single system, or there may be a possibility that they are residing on the different system. It depends on the different scenario or different architectures. It is responsible for transferring and routing an email message from sender computer to receiver computer. Means user agent is providing an interface. Then after once you have drafted the mail and click on the button send. So respond this is the responsibility of the MTA how to deliver that mail from your computer to the destination computer. So we will discuss little bit later in detail based on architecture. So first architecture is there when in the mail server, or we can say both client are attached to the same mail server. For example, Alice and Bob both are connected to the same mail server. When the sender and receiver of an email are on the same system, we need two user agent, two interface means. First one is the first one work for the Alice and second one for the Bob. In this scenario, the sender and receiver of the email are users or on the same system. They are directly connected to the shared system. Means there is a mailbox. Suppose that this is my laptop and laptop is my mail server. So I am connecting, suppose that I have a drafted a mail and sent to the another user in the same system. So it will be get saved on my system, and when I will get log off and another user will get entered, so he or she can see its mail that is sent it by me. So the system is same, only user changes. The administrator has created one mailbox for each user where the received messages are stored. A mailbox is a part of the local hard drive that I have discussed. A special file with the permission only owner of the mailbox can access. Suppose that second user or now or another user has the name XYZ and my name is ABC. So if ABC is sending to mail to XYZ, so when ABC will get log off and XYZ will enter, so he or she can see the its mail. When Alice, a user, needs to send a message to Bob, another user, Alice runs the user program to prepare the message and stores in Bob mailbox. Here, Alice will prepare a mail using user agent and stores in the Bob's mailbox. The message has been sent. The message has the sender and recipient mailbox addresses. The Bob can retrieve or read the content of his mail at his convenience using user agent. It is similar to traditional memo exchange between the employee in an office. There are there is a mailroom where each employee has a mailbox with his or her name on it. When Alice needs to send a memo to Bob, she writes a memo and insert into the Bob's mailbox. When Bob checks his mail, he finds the Alice memo and read it. So this was the one of the simplest or basic environment of the architecture. Now discussing about the second environment when both client and re- basically receiver, when sender or receiver are not on the same system, they are connected to each other using the internet. So it is the mail server of the Alice, and here is the mail server for the Bob. So if Alice want to send the mail to the Bob, so it will compose a mail and send it to the and after composing it will put it into the spool or queue. Now it is the responsibility of the MTA client how to hand over its or we can say Alice mail to the destination, that is the Bob's MTA server. Once the mail will store in the Bob's MTA server, whenever the Bob gets login and checks its mailbox, so the mail will be delivered to the Bob. So there are five steps. First one is the composing the email. Second one is the is and after composing is spooling it, and then after from the spool the transferring of the mail to the MTA client. Then after transferring the mail from MTA client to MTA server, and then MTA servers to Bob's mailbox, and reading of the Bob's mail by Bob. In this scenario, the sender and receiver of the email users are on the different system. The message need to be sent over the internet. Alice need to use a program agent send her message on the to the system at her own site. The system, sometimes called mail server at her site, uses the queue to store the message waiting to send. It has written a mail and put it in the queue. The Bob also needs a user agent to retrieve the message stored in the mailbox at the system at his site. The message, however, needs to be sent and internet from Alice to website. Here, two message transfer agent are needed. One is the client and one is the server. As we have discussed, this is the MTA client and this is the MTA server. Like most of the client server programs on the internet, the server needs to run all the time because it does not know when the client will ask for a connection. Whenever MTA, MTA client want to send a message to the server, so it will request for a connection. Once the connection will get established, it will transfer the mail. So the MTA server must run all the time. If it has mail to send to the MTA server, but if the MTA server is down, it will unable to establish the connection. When connection will not get established, the MTA client cannot send its mail to the MTA server. So MTA server must be run all the time continuously. The client, on the other hand, can alerted by the system when there is a message in the queue to be sent. Means when they when the person has written a message and is pulled it into the queue, the MTA client will get come to know immediately, yes, there is a message that I have to deliver to the particular destination or particular mail server. So it there should be a alert system to the MTA client. Now, there is a third scenario. In this scenario, the Alice is not connected directly to the mail server. It is working on LAN or WAN or WAN. So there is a different scenario. Keep in mind, one is not connected to directly on mail server while other one is directly connected to the mail server, either Alice or Bob. Here we have considered Alice is not directly connected to the mail server. It is using LAN or WAN for establishing a connection. Then after it will transfer the mail to the MTA server. When the sender and receiver of the email on different system, we need two user agent, a pair of client, MTA's client and server. In this scenario, the Bob, in the second scenario, uh, the Bob is directly connected to the system, and but Alice, however, is separated from her system. Alice is not connected directly. Either Alice is connected to the system via point-to-point communication in WAN, such as dial-up modem, DSL, or a cable modem, or she is connected to the LAN in an organization that uses one email server for handling the email. All user need to send their message to the mail server. Means if there are number of user, all user must communicate or send the mail to the MTA server. Now, how it works? Let us check. The Alice still needs a user agent program to prepare her message. Means for composing a message, Alice requires a user agent. Now, then she needs to send the message through LAN or WAN. LAN or WAN. This can be done by a pair of message transfer agent, client and server. Means Alice has composed a message. Now she want to transfer this message to mail server. For sending the mail to the mail server, it requires a MTA MTA client server pair. The MTA client will run on the Alice system and MTA server will run on the mail server. For receiving the mail, for receiving or sending the mail to the Alice. This can whenever Alice has a message to send, she calls the user agent, with in turn calls the MTA client. The MTA client establishes a connection with the MTA server on the system which is running all the time. Means this server is running all the time. Whenever she will send a message, it will be get stored in the MTA server queue. Now, the system at Alice site queues the message received. It then uses the MTA client to send the message at the Bob sites. Now there is a requirement of the another MTA client server pair. It has stored the message. This MTA server has stored the message to the queue. Now, as in the second scenario, this MTA client need to deliver the message to the MTA server. MTA For this, again, MTA server must be ready to receive the message. Firstly, it will establish a connection. Then after, it will send the message to the MTA server. Once the message is stored in the MTA server, and then after in the mailbox of the Bob, whenever the Bob is ready to receive the mail, it will use its user interface to interact with its mailbox. Once It interact with its mailbox. It can delete, it can see, it can forward, it can reply back the message to the other or Alice. At the convenience, the Bob uses his agent to receive or retrieve the message to read. Note that this needs the two pair of MTA client server program as we have discussed. Now, this is the last scenario widely used nowadays when both end user are not connected to the mail server. For example, I am sitting in a organization and using the Gmail and want to send my mail to the Yahoo server to a user that is connected through the Yahoo server. So, and that is also not connected. That user is not directly connected to the Yahoo servers. So, this is the scenario that is mm, mostly or widely used nowadays. When the sender is connected to the email server via LAN or WAN, we need two user agent or two pair of MTA client and server. Here, two MTA, one is this one, second one is this one, and third one is the this is a MAA server. So we request two MTA client and server. The most common scenario, Bob is also connected to his mail server via a WAN or LAN. After the message has arrived at Bob's mail server, this scenario we have discussed in the previous one. So I am not discussing this scenario. I am discussing only this one. Here we need another set of client server agent which is called message access agent. Means if it is not directly connected to the mail server, Bob is not directly connected to the mail server. In that case, it requires a pair of client server program that is known as the message access agent. Bob uses message access agent client to retrieve his mail. The client sends a request to message access agent server, which is running all the time and request to transfer the message. There is two important point here. First, Bob cannot bypass mail server and use the MTA server directly. And it cannot use the MTA server directly. It has to go through the MAA server. To use MTA server directly, Bob would need to run MTA server all the time because it does not know when the message will arrive. This implies Bob must keep his computer on all the time if he is connected through the LAN. If it is connected through the WAN, he must keep up all the connection all the time. Second, the Bob needs another pair of client server program, message and access program. This is so because MTA client server program push the program. The client pushes the message to the server. Bob needs the a pull program so that it can fetch the message from the server. Means it will push the message to the mailbox. Now, for fetching the message, the Bob needs a pull programs. So, what are those? We will discuss little bit later. Here, push and pull messages. When MTA client pushes the message to the MTA server or transfer its message to the MTA server, so it is known as the push message. When the client retrieves the message, when client retrieves the message, it is known as the pull message. Here, this is the scenario. So this will push the message to the MTA server, and Bob will pull the message from the his mailbox. So for that it requires the user agent and mail access agent pair, that is the client and server. So this is all about the push and pull electronic mail architecture. Now, what are the services offered by the user agent? So user agent follows number of services that depends on the different mail providers. In general, it is the composing the mail, reading the mail, replying the mail, forwarding the mail, handling the mailbox, security, etc. There are large number of facilities that is provided by the user agent. But these are the basic facilities. Now, format of the email. Email is email format is just like the simple postal mail. In the postal mail, we have a address of the destination and source and then message. So similarly here, the destination mail from that means sender, mail to, this is the receiver, then contains subject, then after body of the mail. So it is a simple architecture, or we can say format for the email. Now, one of the important topic that can be asked during the examination. First, here is the question maybe asked about the architecture, maybe about the SMTP, or maybe POP3 and IMAP protocol. So we will discuss one by one. Architecture we have discussed. Now I am discussing the simple mail transfer protocol. As we know that or already discussed, SMTP works on the port number 25. So it is the actual mail transfer agent. To send the mail, the system uses the client MTA, and receive it uses the server MTA. The formal protocol that defines the MTA client and the MTA server in the internet is called SMTP. That means SMTP is responsible for transferring the mail from client to server MTA. Two pairs of MTA client and the server are used in most of the common scenario. Here, this is the mail server. This is the mail server. So to transfer the mail in the LAN and MAN, we are discussing about the scenario number four, that is a generalized one. So there is a need of the SMTP protocol to transfer the mail from the user to the mail server, and then after it requires to transfer the mail from the first mail server to the another mail server, and third and last one is the receiver. So we are not discussing about here, we are discussing about the only transferring the mail, not the retrieving the mail. So SMTP is responsible for transferring the mail from source to destination. So MTA client is there. So MTA clients will send some commands, request to the MTA server to establish the connection. Once the connection will get established, it will transfer its message to the MTA server, and corresponding to that, MTA server will respond back. Now, there are two protocols used to access the message at the another end or the receiver end, that are your POP3 and IMAP 4. So here the protocol IMAP and POP3 will work. How to retrieve the mail from the mail server. So first one I am discussing the POP3. POP3 is generally used in the bank or the organization that requires a fast accessing of email, or we can say Once the connection is established, the email should be transferred to those local hard disks or local computers. And if connection may not be established, still they can retrieve the mail. So POP3 protocol version 3 is simple and limited functionality. The client POP3 software is installed at the recipient computer. The server POP3 software is installed on the mail server. In the mail server, firstly, it will request to the username. Here, client is requesting to the client is sending his username. Then after it will request for the password. When password will get matched, then list of the mail will be available to the client, and the client want to retrieve the all mail or one by one, retrieve mail one, then mail two, and so on. So the client can retrieve the mails one by one or maybe simultaneously. This facility is nowadays available. POP3 works in two modes: delete mode and keep mode. In the delete mode, once the message is retrieved from the server, it will get deleted from the mail server and remains only on the user's local computer or the local hard disk. While in case of keep mode, the mail will reside mail server as well as the client server. It will not get deleted from the mail server. In the delete mode, the email is deleted from the mailbox after retrieval. In the keep mode, the mail remains at the mailbox after retrieval. The delete mode is normally used when the user is working in at his permanent computer and can save and organize the received mail after reading or replying. So if there is a dedicated computer and you want to access the mail only from that computer always, so you requires the delete mode so that the mail from the server will get deleted and no other one can access the mails. But nowadays, this scenario is not possible because we can access our mails via mobile, via laptop, via desktop, whenever we will get the time and whatever the device we have, we will try to access our mails. In general, we are using our mobile phones for retrieving the mail. So delete mode is a little bit create a problem for the users. So it is used only for the particular work. For example, within the organization like bank, if you have the mails only related to the bank and you want to keep those there only, so in that case you can use the delete mode. IMAP. IMAP was developed by Stanford University in 1986. It's nowadays we are using the version 4 internet mail access protocol. It is similar to POP3 with some additional features. IMAP is good if you want multiple computers or the device are able to see the same mailbox or the message. Nowadays, Gmail is using the IMAP for so that the mail can be reside in the at the server as well as it may be downloaded at your uh, mobile or desktop or laptop. But there is a one problem. It requires all the time connectivity. If you do not have connectivity, you cannot retrieve those mail. To access that mail, it allows the you to access the mails via webmail system when roaming. You can then choose which message to be downloaded on your machine. So this is a basic comparison chart between the POP3 and IMAP. Protocol is defined in the RFC 1939. It is defined in the 2060. TCP port it uses 110 and it is uses IMAP uses the 143. Email is stored on the user PC if it is using the delete mode or keep mode both. IMAP in IMAP all the time The mail comes from the server. Email is read offline, can be read offline. It is always online. Connection time is required is smaller because mail reside on the local systems. It is larger. Use of server resource it's minimal while it's larger because each time server has to burden to search for your particular mail from the mailbox and return to you back. Multiple inbox, no, it is possible here. A good for mobile user, no, it is yes, as we have discussed. User control over drafting, over downloading a small. You have a full down. It has the full control. Partial message download facility, no, here, because if a mail has the number of send and reply messages, so the complete entire email will be to get downloaded. Here we can see the particular message. If there are 10 conversations, we can see the first, second, third, etc. Simple to implement, yes. It is a little bit difficult. Uh, widespread support, yes, in both. Now, the last topic is the multi-purpose internet mail extension, MIME. The electronic mail can be sent only in the network virtual terminal 7-bit ASCII format. Initially, the email does not use the language that not supported by the 7-bit ASCII characters such as French, German, Russian, Chinese, Japanese, etc. Multi Multi-purpose internet mail extension is a supplementary protocol that allows non-ASCII characters also. MIME transfers non-ASCII data at the sender side to the network virtual terminal NVT ASCII data and delivers them the client MTA to be sent through the internet. So we can understand better by the diagram. The user will enter a non-ASCII character, for example, Japanese, German, Chinese, etc., Russian language. So those languages are not defined by the ASCII character. So MIME will convert into the 7-bit NVT ASCII character and transfer to the MTA. Then MTA will hand over from source end or sender end to the receiver end 7-bit NVT ASCII characters. At the destination end, again MIME will run and it will convert into the original message, that is the non-ASCII code, and hand over it to the user agent. So this is the multi-purpose internet mail extension so that the mail is composed or can be composed in the non-ASCII character in the local languages. So this was all about the MIME. If you have any query, you can contact to me on mail ID, my mail ID. Thank you.